Welcome, welcome. Solara here. I hope you guys are doing well today. I'm back to do a tarot astrology reading. Um, Thank you so much for all of your kind words and feedback and encouragement. I so appreciate it. Ari, the last tarot astrology reading I did. Um, so I'm back to do it again. And I'll be back probably to do the new moon. But I wanted to talk today because the sun is about to move into the final decan of Gemini. For me, where I am in the world, it's happening, I think, in about, give or 3 hours, give or take a few minutes. And this is kind of a big deal. Why is it a big deal, Solara? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's a big deal because we are moving from Nine of Swords energy into Ten of Swords energy. Okay, so Gemini energy, right, is the energy that facilitates us into choosing what thoughts and mindsets we are going to align ourselves with in terms of what divine contracts are going to come forth. In other words, the quality of your thoughts are going to help you align to the energies of whatever contract is coming forth. It's why it's connected to the lovers. So if you are in a mindset where you are thinking you have connected to your Christ mind, which is what the full moon in Sagittarius was here to assist us with, if you've accessed the Christ mind, then what Cancer and Leo season is going to do is help to bring your heart now into alignment with your mind, so that your heart is now broadcasting, because your heart is it projects the truth of your energetic reality, right? It's electromagnetic. It puts out the truth of what is in your energy field, to call back more of what is in your energy field, right? So your heart is going to now align with what your Christ mind, or what your mind says. So if you have ascended, if you've utilized the power of Gemini and all the fuckery that's been thrown at you in order to program you once again back into lower mental states and to be under mind control, if you have triumphed over that and you have told those entities and energies to go fuck themselves whenever they try to come into your fields and tell you lies about yourself and others and your path, well then you have likely got a hold of your Christ mind, which now allows for you to connect with your Stargate. So all of this, I just did a video about this on my other YouTube channel, Solara Speaks, about what these energies have really been about. And that is ultimately the design of trying to mess with you in the head, or have you thinking things about yourself that aren't true and thinking things about others that aren't true. And, with that Mars and Leo energy, getting a little bit lost and blinded by, sometimes anger, oftentimes pride, all of those energies. If you've been able to discern your way through them, the whole point of them rising up in distortions, because they have a function divinely, but when they've been out of balance or distorted, the whole point is to try to deactivate you out of your ability to connect with your Christ mind, because that's what ultimately gives you access to your heart or to your Stargate. Okay, and so, and I got into this in the video I just posted on Solara Speaks. In order for us to access the fullness of our divine gifts, our divine resources, our divine contracts, we have to open our heart chakras, or we have to open our stargates. And everything in this matrix system has been designed to shut us out of our own ability to have the multidimensional access that is actually our divine birthright, but that we forgot about because we chose to incarnate into into this lifetime. We chose to incarnate into the earth. And in order to do that, we had to agree to forget who we are and trust that we would wake up and redeem our rights. So everything for that reason has been about fighting against you and your ability to reconnect with your own stargate that leads into everything that is divinely yours. And so to that extent, this is why we have been wounded through this system. We've been wounded from the time we are children. We've been programmed out of following our own intuition in our heart. We've been given a whole bunch of rules and told that if our heart tells us otherwise, that we're evil, there's something wrong with us, yada, yada, yada. There's so many ways that they managed to program us out of our hearts in order for us to not be able to fully connect to not only source, but to also connect, to be activated in that source energy, to actually heal ourselves enough to open our stargates and be in alignment with the frequency of truth. Okay? So all of the energies astrologically have been assisting us in this, because remember last week when I did the reading, I was saying how the energies of this year are really about the union between heart and mind, because everything has been done to program us out of the ability to connect with our hearts and to therefore not even tune into our Christed mind, but to tune into the logic, the so-called logic that governed that governed this realm, that governed the matrix, that was also out of alignment with truth. So the whole point of what we're doing right now is to bring us back into union with this part of self, our mind and our heart working together in cohesion, because then what happens there is that it's what facilitates us to rise into the frequency of truth. And the frequency of truth is what then opens our stargates and gives us access to everything that always was divinely ours. But we had to rise into this position of remembering and then healing ourselves of all of the blocks and the woundings that we'd accumulated over the time where we were still in like the state of amnesia. So the sun moving into 10 of Swords means that we have come out of the war where we've been purposely, we haven't come out of the war. We've come out of like a really difficult part of the war when it comes to the mental onslaught of projections and energies that are designed to drag us back into mind control and to drag us out of having authority over our own minds and therefore unable to connect with our Christ mind. Okay, so we've come out of that with the 8 and the 9 of Swords. We've been tested. We've been tested to see, what it is we believe about ourselves and other divine beings and, the state of the world. We've been tested. And now, in the 10 of Swords energy, if we have triumphed in discerning what is real versus what is the illusion and the projection and, the entity that is really good at pretending to be operating in the spirit of truth, if we have overcome and triumphed in that area, then now in the 10 of Swords area energy, we have all of these swords that have been, we've been stabbed with them. We've been, they've been used to block our path. They've been used to hurt us, to destroy us, to tear us down, because swords are, words and other people's misuse and abuse of their power, etc. It's gossip, it's slander, it's the energy of murder, which always begins with, it begins with an energy that can then often manifest itself in words. Before somebody actually actively kills someone, the murder energy has its inception long before the actual physical act occurs. Okay, so I often tell people that like gossip, slander, talking about another person negatively, talking down to people, speaking words of death over someone, in or out of their presence, using incantations and prayer to try to alter the free will of another person and their path. They're all forms of soul, S-O-L, murder, right? And that energy, it leads us finally to the Ten of Swords. And how many times have we been in that Ten of Swords energy, but we've been completely defeated by these energies, ready to take ourselves out sometimes, right? So now in this energy, if you have reconnected with your Christ mind and with the truth of who you are, you've held on to that even in the midst of some of the toughest, mental and psychic attacks of the season. If you've still managed to hold on to your divine truth, not the illusion, because there are many people walking around with delusions of grandeur. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your divine truth. Okay? If you've managed to hold on to that, now you have these 10 swords and you get to decide how you're going to use them to protect yourself. Are you going to create a barrier, a frequency fence with them? Are you going to take them and put them in the end? Like, how are you going to use the knowledge and the wisdom that you've accrued from now finally, after many times going through the cycle of being in the defeated position, now you're rising into the Christ-mindedness. How are you going to utilize the power of the wisdom you've gleaned from that? And this is what we're moving into now, with the sun moving from 19 degrees, which is the Nine of Swords, into 20 degrees, which is also, not for nothing, it is the energy of the Judgment card in the tarot. And it is, let me think about this a second. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio. It's Scorpio energy. The 20 degree is, it's a Scorpio degree. So we have another Scorpio degree, right? Because last week we had the 13 degrees, which was Scorpio in tarot energy because it was a death card, but Aries in terms of a degree. And this week we have the 20 degrees is a Scorpio degree, but and in tarot energy it's a Scorpio energy also because it's the Judgment card, which is more to do with Pluto, but it's very connected to the Scorpionic energy too. So yeah, so we have rebirth. We have the rebirth. We have the energy of the Judgment. The Judgment card is about the rising from the dead, right? So we had the death card of the 13 degrees last week. And now in the 20 degrees, we have the rising from the dead. So the full moon in Sagittarius, this window of time between last week's full moon and now has helped us to decide what it is that we want to put to death about the things we think about ourselves and others, and what we want to utilize in the power of our rebirth, of our moving forward. So yeah, we have that with the 20 degree mark in Gemini. And I want to tell you how, what a big deal that the shift into deacons is, because it might seem to be like not a big deal, right? But I want to take you back through your week because I felt a very, very real shift occur on Wednesday or Thursday, early Thursday morning, late Wednesday night my time. So I don't, where you were in the world, like in America, maybe evening, or maybe you felt it on Thursday morning. But just think about that window of time that between Wednesday night and Thursday morning and how you were feeling. Because what I noticed was there was a shift in the heaviness, and there seemed to be some lightness that began to enter the collective energy. And I would like to attribute that to the fact that Mars moved out of the first decan of Leo into the second. Okay, so I've been talking to you guys about how the Mars and Leo energies are here to help us to fight for the reclamation of our lost childhood innocence that actually was the doorway to our ability to connect with our joy and our truth, and therefore have an open stargate. Okay, it's why even in the Bible, Jesus says, if you want to enter the kingdom of heaven, you must first become like a child. He's actually talking very much about the Leo energy. And to some extent, he's talking about how you have to recover all of the childhood energy that has been harvested by the matrix system that makes people, cynical, miserable, all manner of things that takes them out of divine alignment. You must come back to that state of, trust, of connecting with your joy, um, of living without the rules that actually were designed to take you out of divine order. And I'm not promoting you become an anarchist or anything. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm talking about specifically the rules that conduct how you think and therefore how you feel about yourself. Okay? So I say that because the moving of Mars out of the first decan of Leo into the second decan of Leo, it meant it moved out of the Five of Wands energy, which is extremely combative. It's an energy of envy, competition, and it's not like mind oriented like the Five of Swords. This is like when a person goes from 0 to 100. There's no ability to talk to them. It's just it can be extremely combative. And like I said last week, if you know how to flow in these energies, it can be beautiful for helping you to stand up for those things that are really important in the reclamation of your power, of your truth, of your balance. But if you don't know how to flow in these energies, it can make people very prideful, very arrogant. It can blind them in that pride and that arrogance. It can attract entities that like to magnify that pride and that arrogance, or it can also cause them to be blinded by their anger because they're not channeling it in ways that are actually constructive to true change. It really is what it is. So with the shift of the energies from the Five of Wands to the Six of Wands, now there's more of a focus on just shining. That's what the Six of Wands energy is. It's about victory. And although the Mars energy in general is a warrior energy, with the Six of Wands, it seems to have taken a bit of the edge off of the energy. And I think it's also helped by the fact that Venus entered Leo on Monday, the 5th of June, and presently she's sitting at 5 degrees Leo. So she is in Five of Wands energy, but it almost feels like Venus is this energy that is coming in to like calm Mars down a bit. She's like, sit down. I've got this. I have a bit of a softer touch. You've come in and you've done your thing. You've riled people up a little bit. Now let me come in and help them to connect more with the heart-centered, the heart-centered parts of this energy that will actually also assist them to rise. 0044 on my clock. That will also help them to rise, because we need the Mars energy, but we need the Venus energy. They temper one another. It's like the masculine and feminine energy within. They temper one another. Okay, so Venus is now in Five of Wands energy, and she's helping us to, and that 5 degree mark is a degree of Taurus. It's also Hierophant energy. So she's helping us to bring about change in our hearts. So it's almost like the Mars energy came to rustle things up a little bit, to make those energies come up. And now Venus is coming in with a soft touch to help us to alchemize it in ways that help to boost our own self-worth and what we call in the matrix your net worth, because that's what Venus is really kind of concerned with doing right now. But she's doing it by way of helping us. Again, both Mars and Venus are both doing this. They're helping us to deal with and then with the Gemini energy too, they're helping us to deal with those really deep-rooted energies that were born in childhood, and they're the root of all of our dysfunction. And when I say the root of our dysfunction, they're the root in how we actually got off course with how we thought about ourselves. These are the root energies that created all of the other dysfunction that we signed ourselves up to, or that came our way because of how we were programmed, conditioned, raised. But it actually goes deeper than that, because a lot of the experiences that we have in childhood, especially the ones that are kind of like rooted in like dysfunction, discord, and divine, and things that are out of divine order, those experiences are there to wake up in us the energies we need to overcome in order to come into divine order. So what do I mean by that? When you came into this incarnation, unless you're one of those beings who came and you actually didn't have karma, and there are some people like that. There are people who, because we're coming into the change of ages, they didn't necessarily come having to resolve karma, but they signed up to come in and to accrue karma in order to learn and to rise. So for as long as you are not in divine order and you are not knowing who you are operating in ways where you are creating karma. But the point for these beings who came in with that karma was for them to be able to come back to who they actually are. I hope that makes sense. So there are some beings who actually were sent here for the ascension and chose to accumulate some karma because that's the only way for them to get through the matrix and wake up to who they are. Okay? And then there are other beings who are coming in here who have very real karmic lessons to overcome to get to the next level. And so for many of those beings, the lessons that they must learn in childhood are very connected to whatever karma they've come here to resolve. So for example, if you died in a past life and I don't know, you died with a lot of energies of shame. You lived a life where you kept on doing things that took you out of divine order, and you died with a lot of shame in your energy field. When you came into this lifetime, you might have had a mother or a father or a sibling, or it might have happened a lot in your family or in school where you were consistently shamed. Okay, and I'm not saying that this is, I don't want to get into this argument about, this isn't about victim shaming. This isn't it at all, or saying that these energies are right. I'm just saying from what I have seen from working with people, this is how these energies tend to play out, right? It's that those energies they're already in your fields. So they must be awakened to the point where you're recognizing them so you can do the job of releasing them. And to that extent, many people choose the kind of karmic families that they're going to be in because they know that they need this. They need people like this to wake this up in them so they can overcome. Okay, and then there are other people who incarnate into karmic families because they are there to simply to be an instrument of clearing those energies, and so as such they come in and they have a lot of hard stuff that they have to deal with, and you and only you will know in your own soul, what you align with in terms of your truth. Only you will know. I don't think you can go to anyone and you can go to people and they can tell you that, but I personally feel like it's something that you have to be awoken to, and even if somebody's able to pick that up in your fields, it's something, it still has to make sense to you. It still has to resonate and be like, oh, aha, that makes sense. That's why I've been feeling like that. So what I've been noticing, back to the reading and the chart, what I've been noticing is that a lot of what Venus and Mars in Leo are doing is that they are helping us to heal the childhood wounds that were awoken in this lifetime that actually have their true genesis in other incarnations. Okay, so it's almost like the childhood wounds that we've had to deal with, the root of these wounds that we're clearing. As we clear them, we're opening a door to clear out energies from other incarnations. That's what's happening to some people right now. And it's very interesting because, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky, there are some beings who, like I said, they incarnated, or this is how I've been shown. You don't have to agree with me. This is what I've been shown them. They've incarnated into this lifetime without karma that they have to work through on this earth plane. Okay, meaning that they came here almost like volunteers. But you don't only have to come to earth to ascend. There are other ways you can ascend. Okay, so just because they're coming back here on Earth and they may have ascended, it doesn't mean that the last time they were here that everything was perfect. They may have gone somewhere else to learn that lesson, if that makes sense. But because they're back on Earth now, there's still certain densities that can come up for clearing. Okay, and when they are clearing these energies or these densities, what they're actually also facilitating, and more than doing it on a personal level, is clearing what has collectively kept us out of certain frequencies, certain wisdom. And for most of these beings, the timelines that are connected, the last time they were here, or the densities that they're coming back to Earth is helping to clear collectively, are to do with the age of Leo. And it's why so many of them choose to come through very potent Leo energy. They have very specific things to do in the clearing of the densities or in the balancing of the karma that contributed to the closing of the last golden age. Or they're coming in with codes because they lived in the golden age, maybe even before everything came to shit, and they have codes that are here to be seeded into the new earth in order to have this kind of renaissance energy of the new golden age. I hope that makes sense. So a lot of the time, this is what the Leo energy is facilitating. It works in many ways. It's why the Leo energy is connected to the sun. It's connected to your solar codes. But like I said in the last video, it's also connected to you being in golden alignment, golden ratio energies. It's, I don't want to get too lost in all of this right now, but the Leo energy is very potent for us as a collective, and not just those of you who have strong Leo in your charts. This is like what Leo does for us collectively. It helps us to come back into full alignment with our souls, with our sun, with our light. Everything in the matrix system has been about dimming your light, selling your light, trading your light, anything to be accepted into these false groups, false paradigms, false relationships. I'll give you my light if you love me. I'll give you my light if you give me this job. I'll give you my light if you make me famous. I'll give you my light if you make me rich. And it's just like, nope, nope, nope. The Leo energy is here to help you call all of that back. And the reason you need to call all of that back also is because ultimately the healing of all of what made you give it away so easily to begin with, when you heal that and you call it back, that's what reconnects you with your divine, your Christ mind, that then helps you to also align with your true heart, and therefore open your stargate and connect once again with your multidimensional reality. Okay, so the moon is 24 degrees Pisces. Okay, and that is 10 of Cups energy. The moon also likes to be in Pisces. And of course, this Piscean energy, we've got quite a bit of it. We've got Saturn in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces, and then the moon in Pisces. With the moon in Pisces, it's actually helping us to it's facilitating what I'm talking about here with how these Venus and Mars Leos are Venus and Mars in Leo energies, okay, are helping us to connect not only to the inner child and the root of a lot of childhood wounding, but it's also helping us to connect beyond. It's helping us to connect to, other lifetimes, other incarnations. And the Pisces energy is a wonderful bridge for that, because out of all of the zodiac signs, Pisces is the one that's really very concerned with spirituality and the connecting of spirituality through the waters and the opening of the waterways, etc. And oftentimes the way a sign's strength is also its weakness. Just like in human beings, our strengths are also most of the time, our weakness. It's just expressed in a different way. So the Pisces energy has the ability to really free us up in how we experience the fullness of who we are as multidimensional beings here on Earth. But it also has the ability to completely lock us out of it too, in other words. So the moon is here helping to kind of bridge that chasm, but it's also here to help with that 10 of Cups energy. It's here to help us to connect with what feels good in terms of, what we tolerate in our fields, whether it's people or energies. The 10 of Cups is really concerned with how you feel in the midst of a group. It's all to do with your heart and your feelings, because it's cups. But it also, beyond just like the group, it has to do with group energies or multiple energies. So this Venus and Mars in Leo, especially Venus in Leo, is here to help us connect with our own self-worth and our net worth and our charisma. And we are like the Gemini energy, which is over the third house. The third house energy is how we connect to those beings in our formative years. So groups like community, school, neighbors, even family, especially siblings. It's all about how our value, the Taurus energy, which comes before Gemini, the second house, it's all about how either we are valued for who we are as individuals or devalued. And the messages, Gemini energy, that we receive that either affirm our value or cause us to feel devalued. Right? Based upon how we feel in the energy, but also based upon, the messages we receive in terms of how we feel, but also the messages we receive through things that are said or spoken over us or about us, because all of that has an effect on our energy field. So the Venus and Leo energy is here to help us to reconnect with the truth of who we've always been divinely, that was actually robbed from us through these childhood exchanges that we then began to build our lives off of. Whether we did it consciously or unconsciously, it is what we did, because that was our foundation for helping us to connect with the value of who we actually are in the world. So, there are people who are running around who are super, rich, quote unquote. They got a lot of money, but they have no value for self. And in that way, they are still living in lack, because they don't have, their value isn't how much money they can make. They're compensating for the lack of value they have in self. Okay, the Venus in Leo is here to help us reconnect with our value for self that was first robbed from us by way of these childhood exchanges. And this is why Gemini is bringing this energy up for us to deal with in different ways, but that's ultimately what it's here to do. And the Mars, of course, is here to make sure at this point, Six of Wands, that we're victorious. In other words, and this is not to say this is what's going to happen. I want to be very clear. I want to tell you that these are the energies that are available to us. What we do with them is up to us. So that Venus in Leo energy can also promote, shadow energies with people. It can make people extremely selfish, for example. And that, again, it still would be wounding from childhood, but it would be choosing not to heal that and abusing the energy of Venus and Leo to kind of like be mean, like to take your value, but in ways that, it wouldn't be taking your value. It would be trying to accumulate a false sense of value by utilizing that power of Leo that in its shadow can be very prideful and arrogant. So you see, the energies are, I can tell you what the energies are here to assist us with divinely, but it doesn't mean that that's the choice that everyone's going to make. These energies, if anything, can be manipulated for people to also use for, unfortunately, for nefarious purposes. So, yeah, I'm just happy that Mars has moved into 6 of Wands and the Sun is moving into 10 of Swords, because it really is helping. It's kind of like report card energy now. We've been through the test and now we can chill. We're on holiday and we can wait for the report card before we move into Cancer season, where that is when we begin to begin the lessons of knowing how to operate our emotional resonance based upon this new Christ mind we've acquired through Gemini season, if we've done the work, right? So this is kind of the break, this last week of Gemini season, or last 10 days or whatever it is, it's like the last, it's like when you've graduated and you've done the test and now you're just waiting for your results, but you're moving ahead. You get what I'm saying? Or maybe you're not moving ahead. I don't know, it depends on who you are. But yeah, yep. So I don't think I want to go any further. I don't want to make this super long, but I hope that this tarot astrology reading was helpful for you in terms of what we're headed into. It feels a little bit lighter. Mercury is also about to head into Gemini, and that's that kind of report and revision energy also. What we were unable to see under the spotlight of the Sun in Gemini, anything that we missed, the Mercury going through Gemini now is going to come and highlight to us, because Mercury is how spirit speaks to us. But it's also coming in to fill in blanks and to give us more details about what it is we've just been through. So it's almost like the Mercury and Gemini energy is like, okay, come guys, I'm going to bring you the test that you took, the exam that you took, and we're going to go over everything that you got wrong and everything that you got right. And so by the time you're finished, you're going to get, where it is you need to do a little bit more work and where it is that you were really good. And so the next time when it's time to take this exam, you'll do better. That's kind of the Mercury in Gemini energy that's coming through now. So yes. The moon will be entering Aries, I think, tomorrow sometime too. So we'll have a little bit more of fire to deal with. But I actually think it's going to be, I think it's going to be good for clearing energies that for too long have kept us living below our value. And we've been okay with it because we weren't in alignment with our Christ mind. So I think the moon in Aries is also going to come in and to assist what's already begun with Mars and now Venus in Leo, and then also Lilith in Leo. And then, of course, we have Chiron going through Aries, and that's at the 19-degree mark, so more Leo energy, but 19 is also a Libra degree. It's talking about balance. Ultimately, we're also getting ready for the nodes to switch, right, in July. So all of this is also getting us ready for true balance and justice to begin to unroll in real time over the next 19-month cycle, because Aries is very concerned about bringing balance back to self, and Libra is more about bringing balance back to attaining balance through our interactions with others, because we have that Aries energy that is that promotes balance, but also protection of self. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm sending you guys so much love. If you are interested in getting a tarot astrology reading, so I do reports, right? But my guides have nudged me into this area now, doing tarot astrology readings. So I'm giving it a whirl. I'm going to be doing them for the summer months. I don't know if they're popular enough. I will continue, but it's kind of the same thing I'm doing here, except with your personal birth chart. And tarot astrology, when I do it on a personal level, it is me utilizing the power of numerology, the tarot, your personal astrology, as well as any messages that are streaming through your Akasha by way of your guides, and what your guides share with my guides by way of your birth chart. I like to be clear about this. I'm not an Akashic Records reader. I don't go into the Akasha for other people, but I do accept the information streamed from your guides that is to do with your birth chart, because the way I see your birth chart, it is a map for your soul, your SOL, in this lifetime. And the Akasha information is here to show me what it is that your soul is desiring to accomplish this lifetime. What are the stumbling blocks? What are your gifts and your talents and your powers? And, what are you, then sometimes there's a story behind why it is that there may be blocks, etc. But that's what your personal tarot astrology reported. So it's a little bit different than a collective reading, but that's my method. So I am doing those in either audio form, so you can get a recording, you can have a video like this, or we can meet one-to-one via video chat, and I will go through the energies with you. So I'm offering those, and I'm also, if you're interested, I'm doing love readings. I'm very, very finicky about how I do love readings, because I'm not a reader who likes to, feed stories that keep people in cycles. So as such, because so many of us have had divine unions that were delayed, it's time for us to see, what final things need to be worked out in order to bring us into alignment enough that we are able to go into union. Because a lot of this is to do with frequency fences, spells, and all that other stuff. But those things cannot have an effect if we are still not dealing with densities within, because that's ultimately what they attach to and exploit. So, yes, I'm doing love readings too. My Sacred Bathing bundle is on special right now also. I wrote a Sacred Bathing manual, and I did an audiobook for it too. I'm selling both of them right now as a bundle for $9.99. Those are my June offers. If you want to know more information, you can check out my website, solara.info, if you'd like to donate to my channel, this one or the other one. My information will always be in the description box below. But I think that's it. Oh, yeah, basic housekeeping. If you come to me to book me for a mentorship session or any readings where we are doing a live video chat, and therefore it requires a time that we meet, and we agree on the time and you decide you want to book me, if you don't confirm your slot within 12 hours of payment, I'm going to give it up, because I'm a little bit tired at this point of dealing with people abusing my time. And so that's where I am right now. If you're interested in straight up mentorship, I have summer rates. I've reduced my rates for the summer months. In September, they'll go back up to normal. But if you would like to avail yourself of my services in the summer months, those will be my prices. I will also at some point be offering some kind of a flash sale in terms of mentorship, specifically 111, so that those of you with financial constraints, and hopefully you won't have them by then anyway, but to make it even more accessible for those of you who would like to work with me. So That's it now. I'm going to love you and leave you. I will see you again soon. Until next time, be well.